for our first Open of 2020, first Open of the decade, Star City Games, Columbus Open Weekend. Team constructed Modern. Cedric Phillips, Patrick Sullivan, bringing you round number 1 at SCG Tour, hashtag SCGCOL. These players will be given the green light, will be underway. You see big Browns fan there, Ronnie. Big Browns fan.
Good year.
Good as relative.
A lot of Super Bowl talk coming into the year.
That oftentimes slows down.
Baker, Odell.
It's not good. Brownout was what you're thinking.
The coach held in high esteem.
Freddie Kitchens?
Yeah.
Or as I like to say now, because he got fired, Kitchens closed.
Yep.
It's all over. Snow-covered island off a flooded strand. Job down to 19. We are underway here in 2020. One of your favorites.
Yeah. This card
First
is
spell of the decade. How's that feel, bud?
all of Jonathan Job's indulgences.
Yes, mana fixing.
I would have bet a lot against a little that he had some Astrolabes in his deck. No question.
Well, there's a vial off of Unclaimed Territory naming humans, so we are underway here. Both players within 1 mana artifact to kick things off. Job is playing Bant Snow. You see Ritner there on humans. Burn V 4-color Wurza, and then Wienburg on Bant Snow against Paul Muller playing Gift Storm. The vial will creep up to 1. And there's an Ancient Ziggurat. This will be a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Now, it is notable in this matchup, as opposed to playing against Urza, where Thalia is actually going to have some text that's quite relevant. The Urza strategy, because it does have a handful of creatures and a lot of acceleration, can work around with Thalia pretty easily. With what Job's got going on here, it's a slow start for him, and it's going to be hard for him to get off of the ground a little bit, as the vial, will move up to 2 counters.
Yeah, devastating Thalia there for Job. A lot of 3-mana spells in his hand. After starting off slow, no play on the second turn either.
This will be a Mantis Rider here for Ronnie Ritner. 5-color humans. Mana is online. Joe might be eyeing up his Field of Ruin. But for now, looks like he's got a way to interact here. It's going to be a fake. That's just a fake card.
Path to Exile?
I guess so.
Is that from Gideon's spellbook?
I think that actually. Well, look. Holy crap. Who are you?
I know.
New year, new you?
I know.
I would have never guessed you knew what that was.
Well, the guesses are really limited here because it's got to be a 1-mana spell that Job needs the Astrolabe for.
Are you just going to fire off like you know Gideon's spellbook? Do you know all the products in that thing? Or do you know all the cards in that product?
Let me see what I can do here. Path to Exile.
1 for 1.
Rest in peace.
That one was easy. Okay, 2 for 2.
Is there a Gideon in there? I'd guess there's a Gideon.
Yeah. Which one there, bud?
Let's call it 3 for 3.
Okay.
Allies Zendikar?
No, what? No, come on. You think that's the one they would put in there?
Why not?
It's got to be 5-mana Gideon.
Gideon Jura?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gideon Jura. I'll call it 3. Now, there's one you'll never get. Actually, hold on. No, you won't get a single other card.
There's just no.
You have no hope.
There's no white cards anyone wants to own. So it makes it really hard to guess the contents.
There is no hope for you here. We're going to go through the Astrolabe. There is a Teferi Time Raveler. It's going to come down. It's looking to bounce something, I'm sure. As Job has already moved it down to 1 loyalty counter. He's just deciding, what he'd like to make Ronnie Ritner pick up, and he'll bounce the vial. For those of us playing at home, Black Blade Reforged.
Do not know that one.
Yeah, I know you don't. Martyr's Bond.
Don't know that one.
Shielded by Faith.
Nope.
True Conviction.
You are making these cards up.
And Worship.
Oh, Worship. I should have gone Worship. That's disappointing.
But yes, the chances of you had no shot.
Yeah.
Not your fault. Actually, might be. Tough to say.
So I believe that Job's hand has a Supreme Verdict in it that's pretty well concealed given his mana. Although the path to exile, the path to exile does give up the game a little bit, and the rest of his hand is planeswalkers and counterspells. So really not that well suited to fight this kind of game. But maybe he can kind of keep his head above water, bounce and trade off some stuff. Maybe he finds a white mana or another Astrolabe. Maybe he can clean up the whole thing with Supreme Verdict. But he has neither second white mana right now nor mana number 5 getting a look at his hand. So he's drawing, very heavy to a 5th land and a second white source to cast Supreme Verdict. But the rest of his hand is not very good at defending him.
2 mana here for Ritner. See where he wants to go next. You mentioned the Supreme Verdict that's in Job's hand. That is very well concealed. The mana is not working well for Job just yet. Those Field of Ruins can, of course, turn into basics, but for now it's not looking great. Looks like Ritner's going to copy a Mantis Rider with a Phantasmal Image. The follow-up is going to be Thalia's Lieutenant. So these creatures will all grow. 1 encounter on the Thalia itself. And now he'll come across for a whole bunch of damage into the air. Job is going to fall down to 8. His Teferi will die.
This is lethal through a removal spell, so Job really needs to peel off a white source of mana right here.
Yeah, that would be useful here for Jonathan. And we head back over to Job. And Job will peel off a snow-covered island and simply pass the turn back.
So Job does have a Cryptic Command to buy 1 more turn here.
Okay. Well, there's your Cryptic Command.
But Job would really love to have the breathing space here to be able to field of Ruin. Then it's pretty easy for him to be able to get to a white source in Supreme Verdict. But
yeah, not sure he's ever going to be given the opportunity. There's a Vial. That'll cost 2. Because of the Thalia that's on the battlefield. Symmetrical effect. But if I'm Ritner here, I don't really have much interest in deploying anything else. I think Ritner picks up that Job has something going on, some sort of mass removal effect, so no real reason to deploy anything else. I think that's pretty smart there from Ronnie.
Is that a Colonnade?
Everybody's favorite land. That's going to do it. Game 1 goes to Ritner. Humans currently up a game here over Bant Snow, as Ronnie Ritner does win game number 1 over Jonathan Job. Job going to shake his head a little bit there. The land's unkind.
Well, he has a lot of little bits of value lands there, and sometimes those lands come back to haunt you when you are put under duress a little bit. The Field of Ruins and the Celestial Colonnade there, if those are just, white sources of mana, basic lands, fetch lands, whatever, Job has a pretty good shot at winning that game, I think. But those cards that he's playing have a little bit more presence on the battlefield, to have a little bit more staying power in long games. They are a liability when you're playing short games, and that's what happened there.
They were a liability, as good as Field of Ruin can be. And Field of Ruin is actually pretty good against humans. A deck that doesn't have very many basic lands, but in that instance, Job was not able to ever activate one. The Thalias were quite good in that game there for Ritner, and he was able to win that first game. So sideboards will be with us here in just a moment. You can see a live look in our match here between Paul Muller and Ben Wienburg in the bottom of your screen. Looks like Muller does have a Brawl, Chief of Compliance on the battlefield. Wienburg doesn't have much going on his side of things, so if we do have time to jump that way, we will. But for now, we take a look at the sideboards here for both players, and we will start with Jonathan Job, who's got 3 Rest in Peace, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Timely Reinforcements, 2 Veil of Summer, a Mystical Dispute, a Banishing Light, a Celestial Purge, a Ceremonious Rejection, a Questing Beast, of course he does, and a Wrath of God.
I think that Timely Reinforcements is above the bar against humans if you have other ways to interact, particularly sweepers. The extra copy of Wrath of God here is excellent. And I think Banishing Light is probably a little slow for my taste, but not impossible to bring in.
For Ronnie Ritner, 4 Orioc Champions, 2 Damping Spheres, 2 Dismember, 2 Collector Roof, a Deputy Attention, a Gaddock Teague, a Camball, Council of Allocation, a Plague Engineer, and a Knight of Autumn.
Seeing what I saw in that game, I'd probably err towards a Knight of Autumn, Camball, Council of Allocation, and Gaddock Teague. You didn't really see it. I suppose Deputy Detention as well. You really see a ton out of Job's deck, but you have a sense of what the shape of it is. And I want a little bit more staying power, a little more interaction for the battlefield. I wouldn't want to go too hard with it, but those cards I think are pretty easy upgrades.
Well, those are your options there for both players. Game number 2 will be underway here between the two of them in just a moment. We'll, of course, keep you updated on our other 2 matches in this match as well. But for now, we do want to talk about something that you are very excited to promote because you're a member of the team now, everybody. Star City Games Premium. You can sign up today, and you can read somebody's exclusive content.
All right. Listen up, you jackals. This is a good deal. First of many this weekend. Head over to go.starcitygames.com/premium. Get signed up today. Not only do you get access to Star City Games exclusive content, including me. I'm on there now.
Mailbag.
Cedric put me on. You get 5% off sealed products, 10% off singles, and 15% off supplies. That's just top to bottom on the website. Easily pays for itself if you buy as much of the stuff as we know that you do. So head over to go.starcitygames.com/premium and sign up for premium today.
I'll tell you what. It's a heck of a deal right there. $7.99 a month, 5% off sealed products, 10% off singles, 15% off supplies, and just the mailbag alone by you. That's worth it. Bang.
So if you
hammer it out.
If you buy $80 a month, which is just not that much for someone who's an engaged player, you're free rolling the exclusive content. You're getting over on us, you know? And you're probably buying more than that. And we're going to go through this website all through the weekend and show you other stuff that you're going to buy. So there you go. Just do it. Keep me employed. Send an email to Star City Games. Tell them how much you enjoy the mailbag and how that is the only reason you have the subscription. Send that email in as well.
Do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
Keep me propped up.
Next satchel coming out on Wednesday.
Yep.
Hope you're ready for that.
Do you mean, are you asking me if I've written it yet? The answer is no.
No, I know you haven't. Come on. Of course you haven't written
No, but
it.
I got some good questions.
You got some bangers?
I got some questions.
Okay.
Someone that I used to play Magic with literally in like middle school, who's now, or I guess a little bit of high school, played kind of casually and now is a lawyer for Georgia Tech or something.
Okay.
Just emailed me and was like, hey, long time no see.
Got a question.
Had a question about Arena.
Okay.
And what the opportunity cost is of trying to play physical Magic. And then his signature, and I just remember him, he was a couple of years behind me in school, so I just sort of remember him as like a kid, you know? Was just like all these law firms he works for and
okay.
Stuff to do with the university. It's very surprising. Believe it or not, people can change a lot in 25 years.
I do believe it. Apparently, we are going to jump in here really, really quick because Paul appears to be storming off, something I know that folks at home love to see. So he's got a red and a blue floating. Storm count appears to be pretty high, as is Caleb Shear.
I love
Storm counter.
Ben Wienburg with just a bunch of cards in play that don't do anything.
Mm-hmm. You better believe it. Here comes the Manamorphose.
You know what I would be interested in playing in this tournament? A Remand. I think it's warm waters.
I think
accommodating waters.
I think you always want to play with Remand.
These decks just tap out for garbage constantly. Just send it all back.
Well, Paul's going to win game number 1 there as he and Ben have a quick chat about how Paul's going to go about winning the game. Looks like Paul's going to show him how he's going to win, which is a grape shot, and there you go. So Paul Muller does win game number 1 there over Ben Wienburg. Comminos is up a game there over Zhou, and then we've got Ritner and Zhou, but we're about to turn back to right now as these players do take a look at their opening hands. Our goal here in our team matches on our Team Constructed Weekends is pretty simple. We do want to show you the conclusion of as many games and matches as we can, and we want you to see who wins the key game for their team to win the match. So that's our plan here. There's a Cabinet of Souls naming human. Noble Hierarch has been deployed as Joe started things off just with a snow-covered island. There's snow-covered plains. We're going to pass the turn back over to Ritner. Horizon Canopy the draw. Looks like he's got a couple lands in hand. Ancient Ziggurat as well. There is the Ziggurat. And here comes a Kite Sail Free Booter through the Cavern of Souls, which will make it uncounterable. See if Job has some sort of response here with his Bant Snow control deck. And Job right now missing green mana for Ice Fang Quaddle.
Yeah, just little things going on in the margins here that have been very disruptive to Job's curve.
Well, playing Snowman is a real cost. I mean, they're basics.
Yeah, no,
right?
The Astrolabe makes everything so easy, but the games you don't draw an Astrolabe, it can be tricky.
Looks like we'll get a Path to Exile here on the Kitesail Freebooter with the trigger on the stack. So what this means is that Job will have to, he'll have to reveal his hand. We'll see a hand there of Misty Rainforest, Quaddle, Timely Reinforcements, and it looks like a Flooded Strand there for John. Not the best of hands, honestly.
No, I mean, the Timely has the potential to be pretty good here. It's a hand that's really good at gumming up the works here and making it hard for Ritner to attack, but it doesn't really pay off to anything.
Mm-hmm. Just something that can happily buy time. As there you do see Kitesail Freebooter, the Human Pirate from Ixalan block. He'll put humans on the map. And now, you might see some beatdowns here from the Noble Hierarch, or is it time to play another spell?
Well, I think Ritner had a little bit of hesitation there because there's some question if you want to put Job at 19 with the Timely Reinforcements in hand. But because Job has a fetch line in hand, he's going to be able to do it anyway.
Yes,
there's no way for Ritner to play around it, so he might as well get his point.
And that's exactly what he did. So Job's going to fall down to 18 via the Misty Rainforest. We'll see what land he wants to go grab here. There is a snow-covered forest off the Misty. So reinforcements may be headed Job's way, as he is currently down a game. And there are timely reinforcements. So there's the 3 tokens. And we are going to head back over to Ritner now. He's got some catching up to do, as Job has moved up to 24 as well. Horizon Cannon will be able to be sacrificed here by Ritner. For those of you wondering at home, our deck lists are available for this match on Cardboard Live. Shout out to those fine folks that have improved the quality of all Magic broadcasts, including ours. So you can take a look exactly what Ritner and Job are working with in this match in front of us. As now there is a Meddling Mage. Curious to see what Ritner is going to name here. And we will get confirmation on that name in just a moment. As you see, he's told our table spotter. And now I'll tell you that it's Ice Fang Quaddle. Slow down the Snow Snake, excuse me.
Last card known about, so.
Yep. Makes sense. For Job, it would be a Celestial Colonnade, and now the follow-up. That's a problem.
I think we're all done here.
Yeah, so wow, you're just ready to call it. Just like that, huh? That Oko is well defended.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be a problem.
That's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
That one's going to be tough. Well, whatever. Let's play it out.
Yeah,
See how
okay, all right.
See how it goes.
Yep.
You know.
I would define that card as a lot.
Ronnie's got some cards. Jonathan's got some cards.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see
One of them Jonathan can't even cast.
Yeah.
How about that?
Right.
Oh, yeah, bring a picture of this up. Let's get a good look. Won't be our only time today. That's for sure. Oko's going up to 5. 3/3 Elk is that token from Timely Reinforcements. Oh, buddy, you can't put your hand in your heads this early in the year.
I'm not.
It's the first round.
I'm not.
All right. Back to Ritner we go. You're only 1 cup of coffee in. 2 maybe. I think you had one in the hotel room.
I had 2 in the hotel room,
Jeez.
but they're small. They count as less than 1 cup combined.
All right. So we'll call it cup 2 now that you're on? If you count the 2 in the hotel as 1, plus whatever abomination you have over there.
Cappuccino.
Of course you do. There's a Kitesail Freebooter. Nothing of consequence in hand there. Well, I mean, it starts with Mantis Rider to try to get to work. And now there is a Mantis Rider. Now this gets to hit it for 4, which brings it down to 1. Well, unless he didn't announce. Yep, it should be down to 1 with the Exalted trigger. There we go.
How do the rules work? What are you allowed to say and what are you
Well,
what are you
that's
not allowed to
complicated.
say?
I don't know. Things change so much, I couldn't tell you. What I know is that Mantis Rider is about to be a 3/3 elk. That's what I could tell you.
And Joe has Teferi rolled up here. I think as the draw step. So, you just that thing becomes an elk, and then you bounce the Meddling Mage, and then you get to redeploy your Ice Fang.
Well, you can also make the Meddling Mage into
Yeah,
an
well,
elk.
I mean, whichever. There's just a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And now you see how you play your Teferi. Yep, you get it.
Oh, no, I know. You know, I've seen this a time or two.
Yeah. Your Teferi starts on 4. And you can bounce. You can do whatever you want.
Right. A lot of good options.
Literally whatever you want. Doesn't matter. That Meddling Mage, that's an elk now. Probably going to get busy next turn in the red zone.
Yeah, you know, I think I would have preferred to bounce on the Meddling Mage because once you bounce, you play the Ice Fang out of your hand, and then Ritner's just sort of guessing as to what to name when he can't beat the battlefield. But this is all good, you know?
Sure.
It's a fair up to 5. Ritner's got no cards worth bouncing. That's fine, too. A lot of good ways to do it.
Waterlogged Grove, the Simic Horizon land, will be played and sacrificed. Unclaimed territory, the draw. Last thing Ritner needs is any more lands. Humans prefers to stop on 4 lands. He's drawn more than that this game. Gaddock Teague's a little late to the party. Not even convinced it's particularly good right now. Decisions here for Ritner, who's in a lot of trouble now that Oko has showed up.
Decisions.
That's what I called it. Yeah, there he is. There he is.
Yeah, something like that.
Yep. Oh, we're going to freeboot you. Take that.
I mean, this is the way to do it. You have the
you
Exalted
got
trigger.
you got to start somewhere.
Well, this way you leave the Mantis Rider back to, ready for another ineffectual attack the following turn.
Sure.
But this is the right way to try to pace it. You know, you trade off the Death Toucher with your less valuable creature, and then you have your better creature around. Hopefully next turn to do something more productive.
Job is going to sacrifice the a Flooded Strand, fall down to 23, dig a land out of his deck. This will be a breeding pool, so he'll take 2. Looks like he's going to fall down to 21. This will allow him to deploy the Ice Fang Quaddle because Meddling Mage is an elk now, which means this can be played. The snake will draw a card. You check the snow permanents, Death Touches online. Quaddle counting itself along with some snow-covered lands. What's your follow-up? Gaddock Teague.
Oh, I don't know about that text box. No, don't know about it.
Looks like a good choice for an elk, perhaps. There is the Kithkin Advisor. Mantis Rider will become the elk. Gaddock Teague's text box is still online for now, bud. Still online for now. And that's gone. Job will draw a card. I think I would have preferred to bounce before turning something into an elk.
Yeah, see what's going on.
Get all my information up front as far as sequencing is concerned. Not the end of the world. Job's still pretty far ahead in this game.
Yeah, if you slide off a rat there, you might prefer to just make a food, you know. Now Colonnade up as a flying blocker.
We're all tied up in our middle table there between Zhou and Bill Comminos. It'll be Burn winning game 2 against 4-color Wurza. So we'll see if we have the opportunity to move that way at some point. This is Gaddock Teague once again. Looks like that's going to resolve. Land for the turn is a Ziggurat. Follow up. Okay. Deputy of Detention, not going through Cavern of Souls or anything like that. It's not a human. Vidalcan Wizard, if memory serves. Now, this isn't bad.
No, it's not bad.
The problem I have found from the human side with Deputy Attention against decks like this is it doesn't stay on the battlefield very long.
Right. Yeah, it's predicated on using a text box over time, and that's very hard to do against Oko.
Now, if you do Oko it, I can tell you that the person does not get their permanent back right away. That doesn't happen. You still get to keep it underneath the Deputy. It is just a good card. It's fine. Nothing crazy. So away those go.
Good turn, potentially. The Colonnade is still an issue.
The Colonnade is an issue, and is it worth throwing away some of your creatures to try to get these Planeswalkers off the battlefield? Now, it is worth mentioning that this Meddling Mage is a 4/4. Meddling Mage Elk is a 4/4 because of the Noble Hierarch. So does Job want to trade his Colonnade?
Yeah, I mean, what does next turn look like? Because if you have no creatures of your own on the battlefield, Oko is making a food, and Teferi is just going up to 3. It's not like you get a whole lot to show for it. But if your situation is sort of predicated on drawing a removal spell or a sweeper anyway, you'd want to keep your Planeswalkers around because that's the best way to, overwhelm Ritner after your best draws show up.
There's the Colonnade. There's your trade. Okay. So Job will move into his next turn with these Planeswalkers on the battlefield.
Ritner is like right on the line of being able to get out from
finally breaking through,
start attacking. Job has a lot of very good draws, but
did not get a great look at what Job drew for the turn. We know he has a land and a Teferi in hand.
I believe it was an Ice Fang, which is an awesome draw here.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Awesome.
Oko's going to go up, make a food token, making it even harder to kill. There's a land for the turn. And now Job's just going to pass the turn back. There are good draws here for Ritner in this spot as well. Phantasmal Image may have been one of them.
Combat's going to be tricky here for Ritner because he has, just barely enough resources here to make good headway on either, maybe both Planeswalkers, but any piece of interaction can make it so that he attacks the Planeswalkers down, but not to lethal, and has very little to show for his turn. So, interesting to see how he's going to proceed here. You might just want to play like there's nothing in hand, and just hope that that happens to be the case. Really good chance that Job's hand has other copies of the same Planeswalkers. So, and also only attacking kind of in the middle, not attacking for enough to get rid of any of the Planeswalkers, is just too bad on the face of it. So you probably just have to proceed like Job's hand has nothing to interact, and what do those attacks look like? Which
I think that's what he's probably talking to Bill Comminos about right now.
I mean, I would just start. I would just probably say Elk and Galactique at Oko and Deputy at Teferi.
Okay.
And just see how it plays out from there. Now, if you have, I guess you can't really add any immediacy to combat with the Phantasmal Image here.
Not in a terribly meaningful way. Looks like he'll probably name Illusion there. There's Image. I think Job's going to say that resolves. Yep. Looks like he's going to copy Manus Rider. Now I'm just trying to figure out how to attack.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's splitting between the creatures on the bottom here going to Oko and the creatures at the top going into Fairy.
Okay, well, here's the Ice Fang that Job drew. And this could get really bad for Ritner, too, depending on what Job draws here off of that. So he rolls up his sleeves. It looks like he's getting ready to go to work. So we'll see where Quaddle does want to block.
I mean, I would guess it's more valuable to get the Galactique off the battlefield than the Elk. Because you can really cover Oko loyalty-wise just by moving things up and making combat tricky in the next turn.
And just by activating
and I just think that you want to leave yourself to drawing Cryptics and Supreme Verdicts, all that stuff being online.
Well, the nice thing here is you can still leave Galactique on the battlefield and just turn it into an Elk and then do what you want to do as well. Because it loses its text box.
Well, it puts you in this bind where you're sort of obligated to defend the Oko at all costs if you go down that road.
Sure.
It makes it a little bit harder. I don't know. You can manage it that way too. There's a lot of different ways to do it. It looks like Job's going to go down your path here. I just wouldn't want to necessarily have to be committed to go down that road, which Job is kind of priced into. But the extra loyalty on the Oko could be significant as well.
Yeah. And Job not going to sacrifice the food token, it looks like. Maybe a little bit of surprise there.
Well, I think he wants to give himself the option of just turning the food into an Elk
Sure.
and then blocking next turn, depending on what his draw step is.
Well, he's going to turn Image into an Elk, in quotes, which will kill it.
You don't necessarily have to just... the Oko doesn't have to stay on in the game the whole way through. Whoa. Slow down.
Brought in Questing Beast, huh?
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Which is actually...
I mean, they can't block this thing very easily.
Well, also, it's just actually kind of good right now. It's just a jerk of a 4/4.
Oh, yeah, it's so big.
Yeah.
And if Job had a Questing Beast, then I definitely like getting rid of the Elk the next turn, because the Elk plus an Exalted Trigger, now that trades. This way, I mean, Ritner just can't attack.
Yeah.
So.
And Ritner's turn is over right away. So.
No attacks, no blocks.
Mm-hmm. Field of Ruin here. Here's Teferi. Beatdowns. So this is now what we're seeing is where he's converting now.
Yep. Flipping the script and getting the game over with.
Yeah. Meddling Maid's a draw, and Ritner's out of here. He knows he can't be Questing Beast, which is a little bit surprising to see buried in there from Job, but it was effective. That 4/4 has a lot of text, and all of it is positive there for Jonathan Job. So we're all tied up between Job and Ritner. 1-1 there, 1-1 in our middle seat, and that's where we're going next. Burn versus 4-color Wurza is where we're moving, folks. These players should already have their opening hands, and we should be able to jump in to Bill Comminos playing a Watery Grave tapped. It's a Goblin Guide here for Zuri. And Comminos is going to fall down to 18. Bobble. Opal. Fetch. Comminos with maybe a little bit more powerful turn there than Joe.
Remains to be seen.
Okay, Goblin Guide guy.
Remains to be seen. You don't know.
Zuri Zhou looking to put his team ahead in this match if he's able to win this game in front of him. I mean, it's a good start as far as Nova Gan is concerned. Goblin Guide and Eidolon of the Great Revel in hand already. This may be a Goblin Engineer, and it is. So a card we haven't seen very much recently is going to play Sword of the Meek into the graveyard. We'll see if Comminos has a follow-up to that at all or not.
Big turn coming up here for Zuri. I mean,
well, we know he's got Eidolon.
But that's not a big turn here.
Sure.
If Comminos has everything, the rest of it already set up, that's not going to play here. You'd love to have a Searing here.
We'll see an attack. Sword of the Meek is the reveal. Not great in multiples, of course. That damage is going to come through. Your hope is a Searing effect. He has an Eidolon instead. Pass that turn back. Comminos is going to untap. He'll draw the Sword of the Meek that we know is there. And there's a breeding pool. This is Sword of the Meek. Right on the Eidolon trigger.
Yes.
Don't even try it. Comminos will take 2 more from the Eidolon and pass the turn back. We're going to head back Zhou's way. Third land.
Keep on trucking.
Yep, there's your attack. Trigger from Goblin Guide. Abrupt Decay.
Very good news there.
Weirdly castable.
Weirdly castable, but very good news for Zuri. It's not a payoff card. It doesn't really defend everything that's going on here, and it's 2 more damage off the Eidolon trigger.
Sure.
You'll take Abrupt Decay on the top there every single time.
Okay. Looks like Goblin Engineer wants to do some blocking. Eidolon's going to get 2 points of damage across. Comminos in some trouble.
Smash. Smash his Mox. Smash that Mox.
You want to smash the Mox, huh?
What else?
Skewer's good.
What else do you want to do? I mean, I guess if you know the top card's Decay. Although the draw with the Bobble here makes it whatever.
Oh, no activation of the Bobble.
Just saying that it's not just about beating this draw step. It's possible you have to beat the next draw step, too.
Sure.
Because of the Bobble. But if you go down that road and he activates the Bobble, then the Mox is off anyway. So, whatever.
Well, here's the fear now. Because it looks like Zuri waited to fire off this Smash to Smithereens. Whir of Invention is castable now.
Yeah. Yes.
Which can get a Thopter Foundry.
And
now, had this happened main phase,
right,
this would not be a concern.
And Comminos is moving.
And he's moving
right
very
away.
quickly.
Yep.
Yes. And so there's your Thopter Foundry. Sack the Mox to brick the Smash to Smithereens trigger.
I would have smashed the Mox.
You would have smashed the Mox. We were here. You would have smashed the Mox.
Yeah.
This is going to be a problem now.
And now also the last is no longer
drawing decay. So this is all bad.
Well, although he is tapped out. There's a good chance he just dies on the way back. But yeah, this could have been.
He's got a 2/3 on D. 2/3 is not bad. I mean,
he's going to 6 in con.
Look, he could die.
If he smashes the Mox, there's no way he's dying.
You're not wrong. Comminos could very easily die this turn.
Just any 2 spells does it, you know.
Well, there's a Smash to Smithereens there.
That's 1 spell.
Okay. Comminos is going to fall down to 5.
So any bolt is plus combat.
Yes. I guess depending on the texture of Zuri's hand, I'm a little surprised to see that there as opposed to on the Thopter token, depending on the texture of his hand, because he can't attack.
Well, if his hand's just clawed with 2s, then the safest thing is to get the sword off. Because if you're not going to kill him with the attack, letting him have Thopter Sword the next turn is just too risky. So you smash the Thopter Foundry, and then if your hand's just bottlenecked with 2s, then whatever. You're drawn to a land you are cutting him off from being able to cast most of the spells because of the Eidolon, and you're drawing to a land or most spells next turn.
All right, double equip past the turn back, something that Comminos cannot be feeling great about, so he had to activate the bauble to draw a card.
Yeah, and not surprising. Zhou's hand here is just nothing but 2s.
Yep.
Because otherwise, he would have won the game so easily last turn with any one-cost card.
2 Skullcracks, Boros Charm, smash the Smithereens. That's the grip.
So you can just smash the Thopter here and let it rip.
How about Boros Charm instead?
Yeah, this locks out any spell from Eidolon, and then
that makes some sense. Yeah.
There's no response here.
Yeah, it puts him down to 2, so if he has no response and you're just clear for takeoff, to attack. Yeah. And the reveal is an island. And there's I don't know what card it could be, and there isn't one there. Urza and Engineer Explosives were left over, so Zhou is going to win Game 3 and put his team up 1-0 in this best of 3. We're going to head back over to Job and Ritner now.
Just smash the Mox.
Just smash the Mox.
It's so satisfying.
I know it is.
The Mox is like $100, and the smash is $1. So you're already way ahead just on that exchange.
Muller, Wienburg, unfortunately no time to jump to them, though we did get to see Paul win game number 1 very briefly. So we got a little taste of that match, but we put our focus on the match that we started with to kick this thing off. Now, of course, Muller and Wienburg, someone may win their match to call this one quits. Obviously, our goal is to show you the definite winner of the match. But time is of the essence for the 4 players left in this one. So we turn our attention here to Ritner and Job. Ritner with a battlefield of Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, that's a 3-2. Thalia's Lieutenant, which is disperse some counters. A Champion of the Parish, which is a 3-3, and a Noble Hierarch, which is a 1-2, along with 2 Ancient Ziggurats, and a Cavern of Souls, predictably naming humans. For Job, it's an Arkham's Astrolabe, a snow-covered island, a snow-covered forest, and a Mystic Sanctuary.
Not a good sign for Job here in the post-board games that Mana Leak is still in his deck.
It depends on how much you like Mana Leak, bud.
Against Vial, Thalia, Cavern?
I said it depends on how much you
I like a good Mana Leak.
Yeah? You like a good Mana Leak? I know you do. I mean, you're a remand guy over here.
That Mana Leak is... Job might win this game, but that Mana Leak is going to be in his hand at the end of it.
I think he's going to snag something. I don't know what. He's going to get himself a little something. Looks like...
Turn 7 Vial or whatever.
Looks like Ritner might be going to Plague Engineer. Yes.
Oh. Is it time? Have I spoken too soon?
Well.
Still shaking off the rust.
Maybe a little early there, bud. Mana Leak. We'll take care of the Plague Engineer.
Ritner not playing around it. Still a win here for Ritner because it means that there's no path into Supreme Verdict type of path here for Job coming into the turn.
Yes.
Because he can't get the Thalia off the battlefield. In
yes, definitely not. Yep, you're right. Just wanted to confirm, and that is accurate. Thalia has been fantastic in these games that Ritner has had it.
Yes.
Job is going to sacrifice Flooded Strand right away, get himself a snow-covered plains. Curious what this is, because he's doing this with some level of confidence. This is a 4-mana spell. Okay. Those reinforcements are timely.
Yep. It's going to play here for sure. And I'm guessing that Ritner's Plague Engineer was sort of a preemptive measure to play around timely reinforcements.
That or Quaddle.
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Now, Ritner does have Deputy of Detention. He also has Phantasmal Image and Meddling Mage. So decisions here, and Bill Comminos is looking to help out the big Cleveland Browns fan.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing to do is just to play your deputy detentions. There's this question of, do I play around a sweeper the next turn, or is it too problematic to play around the sweeper to just empty out my hand?
Also, you have to name the right sweeper.
Right.
Like, so Meddling Mage, I believe, is going to I believe Meddling Mage is going to name Supreme Verdict. Now, we know that Job has a Wrath of God in his sideboard.
Yeah.
We'll get confirmation on what Meddling Mage is naming here in just a moment. But if memory serves, we haven't seen Supreme Verdict in any of these games yet?
No, and Ritner also might be operating from perspective of, I don't know how reliably Job's deck gets to double white. It's possible he's on things like Engineered Explosives or something along those lines rather than a double white sweeper.
Yeah. And Engineered Explosives is a card that is ubiquitous in this format. So Supreme Verdict was the name. Okay. So now you're going to see Image, so you can play 2 spells in 1 turn. What Image is going to copy is an interesting decision because you have Thalia's Lieutenant and Meddling Mage on the battlefield. And you can see Ritner is unsure of himself on what he wants to copy. And if he copies Meddling Mage, what the heck is he going to name? Oh, Ronnie, we got to make a decision here in just a second here, bud. Let's do it to it.
I guess I would, in the dark, I guess I would name Pat to Exile, but a lot of reasonable names here. It's a tough one.
Looks like he named, well, he named Pat to Exile. Okay.
If you're not sure, I mean, you know it's there, and it's good if he has it, so that's as good as I can do. There might be something better to name, but I can't come up with it.
Well, Wrath of God would be a real crackerjack right now if it showed up.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you split. That's why you split up your sweeper effects.
Yeah, I mean, your sweeper is probably for this matchup primarily, and you know about Meddling Mage, so it's on the margins, but it's a sharp thing to be doing.
You can see Job's hand. He does have a Jace the Mind Sculptor and Archmage Charm as well. Looks like some blocks will be tendered. Some damage will come through. We're heading back over to Jonathan now, who's in a world of trouble. He's got to draw a good card, so he'll draw for his turn. It looks like it was a copy of Oko, which weirdly does not appear to be good in this situation, which is rare for Oko.
Way too far behind on the battlefield.
Yeah. And Job has no land to play, so he'll just pass the turn back, which means he doesn't have access to Cryptic Command.
Well, he doesn't have access to Cryptic Command because of Thalia.
Yep. So there's nothing there. Gaddock Teague was the draw, making Cryptic Command even harder to do if Ritner wants to play it pre-combat. Doesn't have access to really much of anything right now. So the one card that looks like it may work itself into the equation is Archmage's Charm. So you may have to get a good look at that. But here's Deputy of Detention.
And this does present lethal.
There you see Archmage's Charm. The versatile triple blue instant allows you to counter target spell. Target player draws 2 cards, or you get to gain control of target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 1 or less, and there is a Champion of the Parish on the battlefield to take. So if Deputy comes down and resolves and takes care of this token, if you take Champion of the Parish, you've got a pretty nice blocker, but I don't think that blocker is going to be good enough to stop lethal. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7... They'll still be exactly. So I think Job is stuck in a rock and a hard place here because if you Archmage Charm the Champion of the Parish and you block the Thalia's Lieutenant, which is the biggest creature.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's exactly. Yeah. No way. I think I would be really surprised if Ritner was going to deploy this Deputy pre-combat on a token unless he has lethal through one piece of interaction. And Archmage's Charm is actually, in a manner of speaking, 2 pieces of interaction because it's a removal spell plus a blocker. And Ritner still has that covered.
Well, goodbye token.
And he has the Wrath of God in hand.
Does he?
But no 5th land.
Wow. That's brutal.
Yeah, it's 8 damage exactsies through a blocker and a removal spell.
And I think Job is coming to that realization. So before attacks, take your champion of the parish. Ritner's already done the math on what can happen here with the Archmage's Charm. You already see him lay it out. So you block a 3 power creature, you take 8. That's going to do it. We're all tied up. Let's go to the top. Muller versus Wienburg. We're about to be underway. So let's do it to it. There you see your game state. Paul with a couple of lands on the battlefield. And he has an Arkham's Astrolabe. Do my eyes deceive me?
No, that's on Wienburg's side.
Well, no, there's one on both sides.
Oh. No, your eyes do not. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, 3 of them now.
Wow. All right. That's an update to Storm I wasn't ready for.
Actually, so I guess more cantrips is kind of whatever. But the ability to launder Desperate Ritual mana into blue does come up.
Sure.
Like, you need Manamorphose sometimes to kind of flip into your blue spells.
Sure.
And Astrolabe does that very well as on top of everything else.
Okay. We've seen some cantrips, some various things here from both players.
And the breeding pool also implies a 3rd color, which Astrolabe helps with as well.
Here's Teferi. Looks like it's on the stack. Veil of Summer is a blue spell that has been played, so this will allow Paul to draw. Okay. We're going to go through the Astrolabe. Well, there's a 1-mana remand. And now there will be a Baral trigger. Draw from remand, draw and discard from Baral.
Love to see it.
Yeah? You do love to see it.
2020 started off right.
Yeah, well,
Put it back.
Look, game could end right now.
Easily.
These players have been granted a little bit of a time extension since we did hold the match, so we could bring you the conclusion as best we could. So you see the clock there. 13 minutes for these players. Scalding Tarn will be sacrificed. Snow-covered island onto the battlefield. Does Muller have much of anything to get rocking and rolling here? A little bit of a brain fart there. I was trying to think if Veil of Summer was legal. Because it's banned in other places.
Right. Hard to keep track of.
It can be. I was like, oh, yeah, it's legal in Modern. Okay. A Braid's going to take care of the Astrolabe, and Wienburg's going to sacrifice a Flooded Strand. Just had a moment. Like, obviously, it resolved and everything, but I was wait a sec. Yep, okay, that's the thing you can do.
I'm just pondering a Braid on Astrolabe.
Why is that?
Just doesn't seem that good to me. Whatever.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes.
Get that weak stuff out of here.
Yeah. Just swat it into the stands.
Yeah. Seems a little aggressive, maybe. There's an island. This is a Teferi. That's going to resolve. Teferi will go up. Let's head back this way. Scalding Tarn. Three mana. Aria of Flame. Been a minute since we've seen that one. A Modern Horizons card that was a bit of a staple of Storm during the Death Shadow days. Obviously, the format has changed quite a bit. But there is the enchantment. Enters the battlefield. Each opponent gains 10 life. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a verse counter on Aria Flame, then it deals damage equal to the number of verse counters on it to target creature or planeswalker. Wienburg is going to force negation that. Does not want that on the battlefield, so Baral will knock Teferi down to 4. Wienburg will very quickly play a Misty Rainforest, up his Teferi, and pass the turn back. So you see these players realize that time is of the essence.
Interesting there. I think at a kind of a level 1 analysis, the Teferi is so good against the Aria Flame that why even really stress yourself out about it? But I guess there's as long as the Teferi is kept pretty high here, there is not a lot for Muller to do in terms of playing through permission. And you only got to lock out a handful of spells from this point.
Back to Ben, we're going to go. This will be Archmage Charm. Draw 2. Ben's starting to run away with it a little bit now.
But time is going to be the concern here.
Yeah, well, Jace actually gets it done faster than most people realize. I think he's just trying to figure out what he wants to do with it. Is it Brainstorm or Fate Seal?
I don't know. Fate. I would err on the side of trying to get this over with as fast as possible. 9 minutes is a lot to play with, though.
Yeah, you're not under the gun too bad.
Yeah,
that's not too bad. Two cards back. Kick it. Looks like a bad draw there for Paul. Just another land. And also, I think it's worth noting that one of the cards that Ben has in his hand, I believe, is Disdainful Stroke. And that cuts off gifts, cuts off Past of Flames.
Yeah, I mean, this might be, we already might be checkmarked here. I mean, there is just not a whole lot of cards of substance left in Paul's deck. And a lot of them are covered by the cards you see on the battlefield plus the Disdainful Stroke you just mentioned.
And this is the turn where Paul's actually going to try to make a move because he doesn't really have much of a choice. The longer you wait, that means that Jace is going to get the Brainstorm or Fate Seal.
Right.
And you and I have been watching Jace long enough. That thing's on the battlefield 2 turns, 3 turns, the game's over. So he's got to make his move now. Here is Past in Flames. Ben's going to get a Lake at the Graveyard. Because remember, Ben does have Disdainful Stroke in hand. So he'll sack there. He's going to play Disdainful Stroke. And now the question is, can Paul flash back Past in Flames and still go off? I would be surprised if he could.
Well, it's now or never.
Yes.
You certainly can't wait another spot here, so.
Does Ben have a land again? I'd have to assume he does.
Yeah, I think he's just debating if he wants the Mystic Sanctuary, and if so, what.
Sure. Well, he better make that decision with a little bit more speed there if he wants to try to win this match and not have these teams head to a draw, which is something you conveniently talked about right at the top.
Right. You got to manage that.
Yeah. So Paul's going to sacrifice his Flooded Strand. Ben's going to help with the Storm counter. It's up to 3. There's a snow-covered island. Use the mana that's left over to flashback Past in Flames. Okay. That's Storm count of 4. So, as you mentioned, partner, it's now or never.
Yep.
And for Paul, it's going to be an attempt at now. So no mana floating, 2 mana available. Desperate Ritual. Okay, so Pyretics. Pyretic and Desperate. 2 Storm. Should be 5 red. Yep.
And you can launder a second blue through the Astrolabe as well for the purposes of cantripping, if he even needs it.
This is a Gifts Ungiven.
Yeah, we should have it pretty rolled up from here, I would imagine, if this deck is still
It strikes me
reasonably constructed.
It strikes me as pretty simple from this point. It does depend on the construction of his deck, especially in a sideboard game. Because he did already cast and flashback his Past in Flames.
Yeah.
So
it's not a lot.
It doesn't mean that there's no guarantee that he has another one.
Yeah. He might have to empty for an amount and hope that's good enough next turn.
And it's also entirely possible, too. I think this is worth mentioning that Ben can just say whatever victory condition you have, put it in your graveyard.
Right.
And you may not have access to it again. Now, Paul does have 2 Past in Flames in his main deck, but we are in a sideboarded game, so it's entirely possible that he sideboarded one of them out. Little note for you folks, at the conclusion of this match, we're going to go over a Theros preview card from Theros Beyond Death. Let you know where you can order your sealed boxes and singles from StarCityGames.com and get them on a discount if you're a premium member.
Which you should be. It's so cheap.
It is cheap.
In relation to the savings, to say nothing of the content
that Patrick generates.
That I generate.
Excuse me. You create.
Create.
There you go. Because whether you like it or not.
Getting blood from a stone for me over the years, but now they put me on. They put me on the regular rotation.
Whether you like it or not, you are a content creator
I am
now.
batting 8th.
Yes.
Finally, a dream come true.
Yeah.
A content creator.
Serum Visions and Sleight of Hand predictably are headed to hand. Grape Shot is headed to the bin. And you see the organization of the graveyards. Let's see what this is going to be. This is going to be a little bit of a fixing of the mana. Now, I believe Visions and Sleight of Hand are in hand, and the others are in the graveyard.
I remember that he's cut off of doing any sort of remand on Grape Shot magic because of Teferi.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Serum Visions, Sleight of Hand are in hand. Make it a little clearer for you fine folks at home. So there's Serum Visions. Draw a card. 1, 2. Those cards are both going to stay on top.
And this is brutal for Wienburg. One, because he might just die this turn, but also because Paul is monopolizing the clock right now.
Yep.
And it's going to make it really hard for Wienburg to get this thing done inside of turns.
Well, Paul just went through his attack step, so we're done with this.
Okay.
Wienburg's going to untap and draw. We'll see how he wants to use Jace. You see 2 minutes left on the clock. Now, Wienburg does have a way to win the game very quickly. He just drew a copy of Monastery Mentor.
Yep.
And you mentioned right at the top when we were working ourselves into the show, a draw in a tournament like this is a disaster.
It is a disaster, and we're talking about a match that featured Burn and Humans, 2 of the faster decks in the format, and we are still here. Storm also not a deck that is going to time all that frequently. And is this just the story of the tournament? How quickly can these players win these post-boarded games?
Well, it's a brainstorm here from Wienburg. 1:30 on your clock now. Ice Fang Quaddle, Teferi, Force of Negation, looks like a Cryptic Command, various other cards in hand that are all quite powerful at this stage of the game. But he's got to get a move on exactly what he wants to do if he wants to close this game out in time. There's a land. There is Monastery Mentor. And he'll pass the turn back. Now, as I mentioned, Mentor does close games very, very, very quickly. There's Veil of Summer. Well, that's kind of unique, leading with that spell.
So now, this is just like an Orm's chant, basically?
Yeah.
Silence. Just one more thing.
It looks like Force Negation is going to take care of this. Now, keep in mind that Ben does have Teferi on the battlefield, so can't respond. But yeah, this is leading out as an Orim's Chant Silence-esque effect, which
Cool.
you don't see that use of it very often. Normally it's in response to something. There's a Serum Visions. I don't think Ben's going to fight over that one. So Paul will get to draw Scry 2.
And this is definitely going to hit time here. So Wienburg's going to get 3 shots at it here.
He'll get turns 1, 3, and 5. Paul will be turn 0, 2, and 4 in our extra turns, which is where we are now. Here's a Baral question mark. I don't see a reason to fight over this one. Worst case scenario, if that's his play, you can just bounce it with Cryptic Command on the end step.
Yeah.
Right? Bounce, draw, make another monk, untap, try to win the game. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you need 3 spells.
And Missing Sanctuary is going to make that pretty easy
That's going to make it certainly easier. Super cool card.
You get the charm back, and then you're covered a million different ways. And the Mentor can close it out probably in 2 attacks.
I mean, he might be able to get it done this turn, honestly.
I like that.
What do you get back?
Didn't look.
Okay.
Find out. This draw step will be exciting now.
Yeah,
I was talking to you, you know?
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Get lost in those eyes sometimes.
Lost in the sauce. Yeah. After 7 years, still lost in the sauce, huh?
Still loving every minute
That's
of it.
right.
Yeah,
Force Negation. There we
Force
go.
Negation.
Force
Sure.
Negation.
Cool.
Just bounce that thing. Get it out of here. Bounce, draw, make a monk. Or tap, draw. Whatever. I think I would have bounced it, because why leave it on the battlefield?
Yeah, that does seem.
It's a little weird.
It does seem like the same thing, but worse.
Yeah.
I guess it's cast. If you don't think mana is an issue, bouncing the Brawl adds to the storm count the next turn.
All right, sure.
You know,
Sure.
I'm not one to judge.
But here we are. Ben's gonna have to put Ben. You're gonna have to put some cards back with that Jace Brainstorm. I will say that. Three spells wins it. Can he find 3? Their teammates are coming in. Now he doesn't have to kill. He doesn't have to kill this turn.
Yeah, next turn is plenty fine
Yeah,
too.
he's got plenty of time to work with as far as turns are concerned. So here's an attack for 4, puts you down to 8. Cryptic and Force Negation in hand. We'll go back to Paul. Turn 2. Paul knows he's in a world of trouble. There's a Fiery Islet. This is an Aria Flame. Almost certainly not resolving. We'll see.
Oh, why fight over that?
Okay, sure.
It's a dead end for this turn. You know.
Sure.
If it ever got to a point that was threatening, you could also just Cryptic it back.
Also true. Turn 2. Serum Visions. Put a counter on it. Sure. 1 to Ben. Ben's at 23 now. Did we mention these routes were going to be long? I think we mentioned that at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Force of Negation. Exiling Oko. Make a monk. Goodbye, Serum Visions. It's actually exiled. Next up, Serum Visions.
Swap that one too.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to kill Teferi with the Aria Flame Trigger. I'm into swatting that too.
Yeah.
Snapcaster, I mean, sure, that works. That's a Spell Pierce, huh? Make another monk? Ah, sure, tap him out if he wants to keep it. There you go. There you go. Ben Wienburg going to win this match here for his team of Wienburg, Comminos, and Ritner, defeating Muller, Zhou, and Zhou. There you go. Van Snow, 4-color Wurza, and Humans take it down. They win round number 1 here in Columbus. Lengthy
Lengthy
affair.
You got a preview card?